Recording. All right. Good morning, everybody. I think I said hello to most everybody. Hi, Jeremy and Kaval, just bumping in here. Congrats to you guys that got your first orders. I already talked to some of you about that. This morning's not about teaching. Okay. This 30 minutes right now is one of my absolute favorite times to talk to new reps. Okay. Because now many of you, not all of you, but many of you have done your first appointment. Several of you got your first order. And I want to talk to you about what happened. Okay. And this is not story time. Hey, I did this demo and they said this or they said that. I'm just going to use the stats and the data that we've collected. Like we collect, obviously when people buy, you input the orders and we see that. And then the pre-demo questions and the post-demo questions. Okay. So I'm just going to show you what we've observed, from yesterday and a little bit from this week. Okay. So let me share with you guys a spreadsheet and make sure I got the right spreadsheet up and ready to go. All right here. We'll start right here. All right. Kendall, thumbs up me if you can see a number and some spreadsheets. Okay. So this is yesterday, you guys. I'll put it right on here. The date 7.31. Oh, not 31, 30.21. Okay. So this is what happened yesterday. Okay. We had Nicole Giannini led the way. She's not brand new. She's not in the training class. She's what's called a senior FSM. She sold over about $65,000. And yesterday she had 5 orders and her orders totaled up to $4,359. Okay, that's a good day, by the way. If you didn't know, selling 4,000, selling 1,000 in a day is a good day. Okay. So we had Michael Master had 2,800, 6 orders, Francine, Chase, and then here we have Haley. This is the first new person. Okay. So Haley was in you guys training class. You guys remember Haley. I don't know if she's here yet this morning. Didn't see her, but hopefully she'll be jumping on soon. So she had 1 order for 1,100 CPO. Okay. And she's a trainee. The second high trainee was Dwight. Nice job, Dwight, with an order on the board yesterday. We had Angelina also on the board yesterday with an order. Now, Angelina's not in your training group. She started the week before, but she's still in her first 10 days. So I like to see it with the new people. And then we had Mira here as well, brand new, right out of the gate. Okay, or first week. Overall, you guys, we had 44 orders yesterday as a team. Okay, the total added up to $17,000 yesterday. And then our average order size, okay, remember I told you guys over and over that $300 is the national average order size? Well, our average order size yesterday was 388. Okay, I told you we're usually closer to 400. In fact, specifically, what did I say? 375 to 425. That's typically where we find our office, typically somewhere in that range. And over here, just as an FYI, this is the people's career sales. So Leah, she only had 1 order yesterday for $37, but her career in her lifetime, she went to Chapman. She sold $4 million, okay, worth of sales. Nate sold up almost 2 million. And then we got people everywhere, 23,000 to 6,000 brand. Oh, these are brand new people. I forgot to recognize some of the other brand new people. Don't be mad at me, you guys, that I forgot you. I didn't forget you. I just didn't finish. So anyway, as you see, Victor and Jolynn and Alexander all on here on the board, and Amanda as well. Okay, so that's what happened yesterday for the week. So here's where we're at for the week. We got 154 orders for the week, and our average order is 332 for the week. Okay, so I said usually it's 375 to 425. By the end of the week, we'll see. The weekends are usually pretty good for us. But our average order size for the week so far is 332. So leading the way for the week is Nicole. You saw her yesterday, sold 4,000. For the week, she sold 7,400. Leah's got 27 orders for the week. Francine's got 18 orders for the week. You see Chase with 9, Michael with 7. And by the way, some of these, 9's great, 27 and 18 are amazing. 9's great. When I look at people, the minimum number that I look at orders for the week, and I don't want anybody to, this to lower your expectations, but if someone's at 7 orders in a week, that's an order a day. In my opinion, that's great. That's fantastic. 7 orders a week. Okay. If people don't realize it, but if they just got 7 orders a week and hit our averages, they make about $65,000 their very first year on the job. 1 order a day. Okay. Make almost double what the average college graduate makes in the United States. 1 order a day. That's all it takes. Okay. So Alexander, you're on track. Dwight, you're on track. Right. A lot of people on track. And if someone's super part-time, 4 orders a week earns about $30,000 a year. Okay. close to what the average college graduate makes with 4 orders a week. Okay. So anyway, if you got 1 order, you're doing fantastic. Okay. Now this is my favorite part. Okay. All right, you guys, this is the pre-demo questions, mostly just for your group. Okay. I took some of them out of here that I know weren't your group. So we had a few more than 20 filled out yesterday, but these are the 20 that's mostly from you and some people who are somewhat new. Okay. So what I do, and I took out your names because I didn't want anybody to, feel embarrassed about anything. Okay. Of course, we noticed that this person has the exact same last name as Dwight. So we kind of can assume, well, it might be related to Dwight right there. But for the most part, these are kind of anonymous. And what I do is I put a red, I fill it in red if there's a reason that I think that person is probably not going to buy. Okay. Or I will call it, there's prospects, people who probably should buy, and then there's suspects, people who maybe they're qualified, maybe they're over 30, maybe they've got a job, but they're probably not going to buy just based on something ahead of time. And what I do is I guess. Okay. I just take a guess on who bought and who didn't buy. Okay. Without actually looking at the answers yet. And then I see how I did. Okay. And why is this important to you guys? Because you might be thinking, well, Jay Brad's just playing a game with our things. He's having his own fun. Well, yeah, this is fun for me. But what you can learn from it is that if I can tell who's more likely to buy or not likely to buy just by looking at their pre-demo questions, when you learn how to do the same thing, you'll be able to work a lot smarter. Okay. And not do the appointments to people that are the likelihood of them buying is very, very low. Okay. So, why do you think these ones, in this column, several of these are red? Why are these red? Anyone want to take a venture? Okay. You drop it in the chat or just say it. Anybody, what do these have in common? Drake, Armando, Parwinder, Anthony, and Michael. Okay. Alexander says they're alone. They are all of them alone? Yeah, they are all done alone. Not currently employed. No, there's only one here that's not currently employed, or 2 that aren't currently employed. I'm talking about just this column right here. You can tell if all this was gone and it was just this, not underage. What do they have in common? Listen to these names: Drake, Armando, Parwinder, Anthony, Michael. They're men. They're men, Alexander. Okay. Now listen, I know this won't make sense, and it doesn't really even necessarily make sense to me. But when we do demos to men, and it's only a man there, a male person, they could be homosexual, they could be heterosexual. I mean, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Okay. But if we do a demo and it has a male's name on there, the chances of them buying are extremely low. Okay. You could be doing a really killer demo, but it just doesn't really matter. So what does that tell us? Well, don't do demos to single men. It's a waste of your time, waste of their time. And if they are married or have a partner of any way, just make sure the partner is there. Okay. Because if I see a male's name here, but I see another name here that they're with somebody else, then usually I don't turn it red, right? I turn it into a green. Okay. Because it's 2 people or a couple. Okay, as long as it's a couple. Now, there's some things I can't tell just by looking at this. Like I can't tell if they live in an apartment or they live in a house. Okay. If I could tell if they live in an apartment and a house, if I could tell if this other person there is actually a significant other of theirs, I'll even be, I could even be more accurate in my guesses. Okay. Now this one here, obviously, if they're under 18 or over 65, they're not as likely to buy. Now, do we sometimes sell people or under 30? Do we sometimes make sales to people under 30? Sure. Sometimes we do. I don't get these all right 100% of the time. If they're retired, I put it in yellow because I'm not really sure about that one. One like this, by the way, yellow with Cutco, usually that person is somebody who buys. Okay. And a pretty high percentage of the time. If they have a good, a quality set of knives that they spent money on, I put it in green. This is Henkel's. Henkel's is a German brand. And if, that's usually someone who buys. If they have Cutco already, that's usually someone who buys. If they don't know, okay, if they don't know what kind of knife they have, that tells me not 100% of the time, but my assumption is that maybe they weren't at home. Okay. And if we do a demo to someone and they're in an environment that they're not at their house, the likelihood of them buying goes down. Okay. I'm just giving you guys data that you can use in your business. Now, I don't know for sure if Adriana wasn't at home. Somebody might say, oh, yeah, they were at home. Well, if they're at home, I want them to go look at their knives. Okay. When it comes to that part, what kind of knives do they have? I want them to actually look. I want them to touch it, to hold it, feel it. And because it'll remind them how good, how good their knives are or are not. Okay. So there's that. So here's my guesses. Okay. So I guess no on Drake. I guess yes on all these. I guess no on Armando because it's a male. Here's another no. I guess no here because they're under 18. They weren't working. That's not, that's not even a qualified point. That doesn't even count for the base of $22. So again, not a really good use of someone's time to do that demo. This one right here, look, they have Cutco, but it's a male's name. And so, sometimes these will cancel each other out, but I guess no, because it's a male's name. I guess no here, another male's name. Here's one, not working. Now, not currently working might mean that they're, they were retired or something, but they didn't put any of that. They just put not working only, but they had Cutco, but it was a male. So I guess no on this one. Adriana here doesn't know what kind of knife. So just because of that, I guess, well, they're probably not at home. So the likelihood goes down, I guess a no. And so here's my guesses. Okay. Anybody curious on how I did? How do you think I did? Anybody want to guess how I did? What
Right.
percentage? What percentage do you think I got right? Alexander says 85. Okay. It is exactly 85%. Oh, there's a couple more down here. It is exactly 85%. Okay. That's pretty good, Alexander. Usually I'm around 70%. Okay. Alexander, that's a good guess. Usually I'm around 70% right. Okay. Sometimes it's been as low as 60. 85 is pretty high. That's one of the higher ones. If I get 65% right or higher, that should tell you something about what we know and understand about the stats. Okay. So which ones bought? Okay. Or which ones did I get wrong? So this retired one I got wrong. Okay. Should have been a purchase in my opinion. Now, some of these were done by brand new people and some of these, maybe they should have or could have been sales. Usually if I guessed wrong here, it could be a little bit of a, Alexander should go to Vegas this weekend. Right. Usually if I guessed a yes and it was a no, a lot of times it's a brand new rep that maybe with a little bit more experience or a little bit more help might have turned it into an order. Okay. But anyway, I also want to give you these statistics. So for all of the demos that were done, these that we have the pre-demo questions for, now there are demos that are done out there that we don't have the pre-demo questions for. Maybe the rep forgot to do it or didn't do it or whatever else. Right. But for all the demos, there were 20 demos done, 9 orders. That's a 45% of sales. Okay. That's not so great. Okay. 45%, but I'm not worried about that. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus or judging anybody because to the non-prospects, the ones that shouldn't buy, the ones I said, these are probably not going to be buyers. There were 9 of those demos and not a single one bought. Does that tell you anything? Right. It's like, oh man, if some of you guys are like, shoot, I've got a demo to my Uncle Jimmy today and he's single. Right. And you're like, what are they going to, well, you know what I would tell you to do? I would tell you just to call and cancel it. Just don't do it. Okay. Because it's not going to help your confidence. You can do a demo for your Uncle Jimmy after Monday. Okay. We will teach you a few things that might help you a little bit. Maybe you can get it to, instead of 9, we would have 2 orders, but still it's going to be low. But to prospects, to people that should buy, women or married couples together, that type of thing, there were 11 of those demos done. We got 9 orders for 82% closing, right? What did I say? We're going to close at least 60%, right? 82 is definitely more positive. Okay. So some interesting stats, you guys. Yeah. All right. And then what's this last one? Oh, these are the post demo questions. Okay. Now there were only, of those 20 demos, there were only 10 post demo questions that were filled out. So what that tells me is that some of you guys forgot to do it. Okay. Or maybe this is what happened. You didn't forget to do it. You told them to do it. And you said, hey, go ahead and do these knives, but you did these questions, but you didn't get them started before you got off the Zoom with them. Okay. And here's the thing, what happens is if you don't get them started, it's not that they don't want to do it or they're not planning to do it. They just forget. Okay. They procrastinate. They say, well, I've been on the Zoom for, 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. And so I'm going to go get a drink of water, or I'm going to go have a sandwich, or I'm going to go do this. And then they just forget. Okay. And they forget to do it. So only about half. So one thing I'll recommend those of you that haven't even done a demo yet, seeing this, like, okay, that's a thing I got to make sure to remember. Okay. So make sure that they do the post demo questions because we can use it for coaching. So let me tell you some of the things that we got here. So this is actually a pretty good bit of feedback from this particular customer. I took the names of the customers and your names off of this and deleted some columns that they're unnecessary. But this is a good one. When presenting the videos of the knives, turn down the volume a little bit so that I can hear you describing them. Okay, that's good advice, right? So this rep, there's sometimes on the videos, there's a little bit of information in the background. Now on the Super Shears video, we want it to play, right? We want the video where it's me in my backyard doing the knife cutting. We want the customer testimonials. Obviously, we want to be sharing our sound for those, and we don't want to be talking through those. So either the rep was trying to talk during the videos, okay, those videos, and that's a mistake, or they left the volume up during some of the other videos. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so there's certain times when you want the customer listening to you, other times you want the customer listening to this other one. So this one was, I really like the product, will purchase some in the future. Okay, I love this. Okay, this I want to talk about. I said I wasn't going to teach you much of anything. I'm just going to remind you of something about this right here. And then this column, so these columns here, the additional comments, the what can they do to improve, and the if they bought, why, and if they didn't buy, why they didn't buy. These are where I can really learn a lot about what you're doing and give you some good coaching. Okay, so this one here says, just recently bought a set of knives. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you guys is that's not like an objection. That's not the reason that they didn't buy because they just bought a set of knives. Do you think we've ever in the history of the world had someone that went out and bought a set of knives and 3 days later they bought some Cutco? Do you think that's ever happened in the history of the world? Heck yeah, it happens all the dang time. If they just bought knives, guess what? That means they weren't happy with the knives that they had, and they went out and they bought the best of what they saw. Okay, if someone's just recently bought knives, to me, that's a really, really good sign that they're a really good prospect to buy some Cutco. So anyway, so this one they said, I really like it. I will purchase something in the future. So this is an example of where someone with a couple of days experience even is likely to turn that interest into action. And that's really what our job on the demos, guys, is to do, is to turn interest into action. If someone's interested, if someone says to me or says to you on a demo, hey, I really, really like these knives, I definitely want to get them, but, and I don't care what's after the but, if they say, I really like them, I really want to get them, I'm going to work my butt off because of their butt to help them get something. Okay. Because let's say this person's name is Miss Jones. I don't know what her name is, but let's say this is Miss Jones. And let's say 3 months from now, she wants to buy a homemaker set. Well, now I can't give her the bonus items, right? And by the way, if you called your manager for help on these deals, you found out that we can actually give them a better deal than what you guys can offer on your own. That's why we always say, always call into your manager. How many of you guys, by the way, that got a sale, you called in and talked to your manager and that helped? Raise your hand if you. I know there's only like 4 or 5 of you on here. So Victor is one. I know that Haley was one. I know Alexander was one. Okay, so out of about 5 or 6 of you that made a sale, more than half of you calling into your manager helped. Okay, so that's a super important thing to note. But this person, all I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and do my drop downs like normal. Try the buy. Pick 5 specials and the different specials that you guys are learning through your managers helping. There's like 4 or 5 cool manager specials that we could potentially do. And when you call in your manager, all you'll do is listen to your manager kind of talk them through some of those things, and you'll see what happens. But we want to help them get one knife, because if they buy one knife, they reserve all the bonuses, all the discounts, all the bonuses, all the free items. They reserve the right to get those in the future. So someone who just bought some knives, and by the way, if they just bought knives, depending on where they bought them and how long ago, they might be able to take them back and get their money back. Okay, I've had people do that. They bought one person bought a $2,000 set of Henkels like the week before I did a demo for them. They bought it at Macy's. I know Macy's has a really good exchange policy. So I actually, because this is when I was face to face, I actually took their knives back to Macy's and got their money back, and then came back and then they bought a set of Cutco from me. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. That's a little bit of an extreme example. So anyway, do you guys understand though? What we need to help them get at least one knife, because that's going to help them remember how good it is. Somebody who says, coming back to me in the future, the timing is not right now. It's probably not going to just become right either. This one obviously bought something, needed new knives. Okay, very engaging. MOC's really good. Here's another good one. Reach back out to me in 2 months. Just came back from a vacation. Do you think in the history of the world that someone just came back from a vacation and they bought a set of Cutco? Do Think it's ever happened? Yeah, it happens probably every day, every single day. Just because someone went on a vacation, that's not an actual reason not to buy. Now, what she means is probably I just spent a bunch of money on my vacation, and so I'm not really comfortable spending more money now because I overspent on my vacation. Does that make sense? That's probably what she really means. But the fact that she went on vacation is not just that fact is not like really the reason. And I'm telling you guys this because you're going to learn some things over the course of the next couple of weeks on how to, when the customer says something, how to find out what it really means. Okay. Because what people say isn't always what it really means. And it's nothing bad on the customer. It's just learning how to talk to people through that process. Likes good knives, like the presentation. I think that was someone who bought, no feedback. But for the first time, I think he was great. I enjoyed the presentation. Quality of the knife. I like the presentation. That's someone who bought a set. I think that was like a $700 order. Know more about the product. I love, and so I cut out the name. So that's normal for brand new first demo. That's someone who did their very first demo. Big, stay calm, relax, and have fun. That's good advice, right? We told you that in training. Be more fluent. Okay. Now that probably just means get more familiar with the material, right? Unable to purchase today. This is a Cutco owner, so probably a purchaser. Have too many kitchenware at home. That tells me that maybe the customer wasn't actually at home for their demo, maybe. But this to me, this is a reason to buy, not a reason not to buy, right? Because if someone has just a drawer full of old knives that don't work, that's the reason to buy Cutco as opposed to a reason not to buy Cutco. And then memorize it, know the product, be able to answer questions faster. Oh, shoot. Wasn't supposed to pet. Victor, forgot. I think he's great. There you go. That wasn't Victor. That wasn't Victor's customer. You guys. Okay. Victor's like, hey, what happened? I think he's a great asset to Cutco. Of course, it's a good compliment. So at least it wasn't something that they're like, oh, he didn't know anything. The product looks good and lasting. So I can learn a lot, and your manager can learn a lot about how to coach you guys using those. Okay. So that's really the main thing that I want to show you guys is kind of going over some stats. I'll let you guys kind of know a little bit about the timing of this year and something that's going on. Let me show you one more thing here. This is a graph that the managers have seen quite a few times. This is the national competition for our division. Okay. Here's the different divisions we're competing against. Mainly we're competing against Rocky Mountain, North Star, and now Lone Star. These are the ones that are ahead of us. And so since the beginning of the year, I'm tracking our graph. Now, listen, we normally are not in the lead. In fact, we've never been in the lead at this time of the year. Really, this week that's starting on Monday is generally speaking when we start to chip away at the lead. I will tell you this, that Lone Star looks really good right now. That's my original division that I was in when I started in Texas. If they don't slow down, we're going to have a very, very difficult time. Okay. But they're in the middle of their big summer contest. Okay. In fact, their summer contest ends, I think, after this weekend. We start our summer contest on Monday. Okay. So you're going to see, just because of the nature of the way that the contests work and schools letting out earlier in different parts of the country and different things like that and going back sooner, we're going to see us move up this graph. We're right here. Okay. We're right down here. We're basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. We're like fifth, sixth place, which is normally where we are at this time. There's another category right here, and we're in 4th place. And it's a lot closer of a race. This is the category we actually won the national championship in last year. There's 2, but we're going to start seeing us chip away. Here's the gap. Okay. So this is the contest that we won last year. And so in January, you'll notice we were 57,000 behind, then 100,000, then 140,000. We were $190,000 behind at the end of January. Okay. Then we all in the spring, this is February and March and April, we chip away at the lead. And this is actually way closer than we were the previous year, way, way, way closer. And then what happens in May and June, they start letting out of school earlier. A lot of our people are still in school and they're not really working as much. And so they really build up a lead. Okay. Last year, so we got to over $230,000 behind. Last year, we were $500,000 behind at this time. Okay. Now, some of these numbers, by the way, they may not mean anything to you, but I get fired up every time I go over them. So I'm going over them. And then we start chipping away the lead. Okay. Then right here, instead of continuing in this path, this week and this week is their big summer conference. Okay. So the fact that we actually made up, $1,000 last week while they're still in their summer conference number 2 push contest. That's remarkable. Okay. Remarkable. But what's going to happen is we start our contest on Monday. All you guys get a chance to start at the best time of year to sell Cutco. And so you're going to see this thing start to pretty consistent. Well, look, I'm not trying to predict the future, but I'm telling you what my business plan says. You'll start seeing us start chipping away, and hopefully by the time we're in October, November, maybe not till into December, we'll take over the lead. Last year it was the very last week of the year that we took it over. The other contests is like this. We got to almost $1 million behind. Hans and a few other people were saying, man, we should have gotten to 1 million, right? Where we were behind by 1 million and then come back. So, but this is what's happening here. Look, we started making up some ground a little bit, not enough to make a big difference. But then they started their big contest. And so this is what happened with their big push contest. So we should see, we should see this and hopefully every single week for the rest of the year, mainly because of you guys. The pressure's all on you, this class. We'll start seeing us chip away on this thing. Okay. It's a long year. We're basically halfway through the year, and we're a second half team, no doubt about it. And I'm just excited about the contest. It's going to be a lot of fun.